Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John R. and I'm your instructor. Today I'm going to show you how to apply a scratch finish to your project surface. Now some of you have been having problems with polishing and you want something that's a little bit easier to finish your pieces. Or some of you on the other hand are a little more advanced and you want to know how to get that perfect matte finish on your piece. Well, this project is going to show you exactly how to achieve either of those two goals. Now, the first thing you need to know is that the surface that you're going to work on needs to be brought up to a 600 sanded finish. Now, on the bench right in front of me, I have two pieces of copper. This one has been finished to a 400 grit sanded surface, and this one has been finished to a 600 grit sanded surface. And you can totally see the difference. A 600 grit surface is a pre-polished surface. I'm ready to go to the buffer with this one if I want to. You can probably even see my reflection in the surface of this piece. Now, we need to get this one up to this level. In a previous video on sanding, I showed you how to do this. What we want to do is place our piece within a contained area where we can put a little bit of water. Now, the water is going to be used to float the lemel, or the particulate matter that would normally clog the sandpaper. It's going to float it out of the sandpaper, making that sandpaper last longer. So I already have a piece of 600 grit paper ready. And what I want to do is sand in the opposite direction of the grain that has been previously left by the 400 grit. So I'm just going to swipe, and as you can see, you can totally tell that I'm taking away the grain lines from the 400 grit sandpaper and leaving a much smoother finish. Like I said, you can refer to the sanding video for complete instructions on how to sand underwater like this. Okay, let me move this and let me show you how to apply your scratch finish. Now, what you want to do is you want to eliminate one of the steps from your preparation. Normally when you sand a surface, you move from a 320 grit sandpaper to a 400, and then you finish with a 600 to get that nice pre-polished finish. To put a scratch finish onto your piece, what you want to do is eliminate the 400 grit. Then what you're going to do is work backwards from 600 to 320, then you jump to 100 and finish with an 80 grit. Now, when you do this, what you want to do is have it so that you can easily handle your piece of sandpaper. I like to fold mine into a small piece, and you're going to smack the surface and move the sandpaper and then lift up and move the piece. Watch how I do it. So I'm going to hit it, scratch it, turn it, hit it, scratch it, turn it, and you want to keep repeating this until you do the entire surface. Now, what's important about this is that you want to have a variety in the direction that you're moving with the sandpaper. And it's important that you cover the entire surface with every grit that you're going to use. The reason for this is the fact that every bit of sandpaper is going to have different sizes of grit on it that are spaced differently. And if you cover the whole surface, you're going to have a nice, smooth, warm kind of matte finish rather than one that directs your eye in a strange way. The trick to this is that you want to try to use a fresh spot on your sandpaper every time that you do it, and like I said, keep turning the piece. And sometimes you might even want to move in the opposite direction and only make quick, short strokes. You don't want to do anything that's going to leave a swirl pattern on the surface. Okay, so I've pretty much covered that surface with a 600 grit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the 320. Again, make the piece of sandpaper small enough to handle and go in, hit, pull. Just do this lightly over the entire surface. And like I said, if you want to switch it up, turn it the other way for a while. And try to hit every piece of metal with the sandpaper. You can see how fast this is going. And you can already begin to see some of the warm highlights that are beginning to develop from the different grit. Okay, so that's the 320. Let's jump to something coarser, 100. It's best that you purchase wet dry sandpaper for your bench because that way you can use it underwater. But for this, you could use regular wood sanding that doesn't have that type of glue to attach the grit. Okay, let's do some 100. So we're going to hit it and pull it and scratch it. Now the reason why you go in this order is because you want to finish with the sharpest, coarsest grit so that you get these nice little highlights and streaks on your piece that just totally highlight the surface and give it a nice kind of almost like moon glow to it. You just want to be very, very careful not to leave a swirl pattern on the surface. Okay, let's finish up with the 80, which is our coarsest grit. Now you could go with a coarser grit sandpaper if you want to, like a 50, but it's not necessary. If you get to 80, you're probably good to go. All right, so here we go. This can be done on any metal, and you can see that it's taking on a really interesting sort of surface. There you go. It's a beautiful surface with lots of interest and texture and faceting. And this is perfect for a piece of jewelry that receives a lot of wear, like a bracelet. If something's going to hit a table surface regularly, you might want to hit it with this type of finish in order to make it look like it's brand new every time your client puts it on. I hope you have fun applying a scratch finish to some of your jewelry. Check out our other videos and products on the onlinejewelryacademy.com. Thanks for watching.